This is the most uncomfortable game I've ever played in my entire life. No Means Nothing is a psychological horror that feels a little bit too real. It's a game about a coworker who's also an old friend that is constantly putting you into extremely uncomfortable situations. Today we're gonna take a deep dive and look at this anxiety-inducing game. Now, if you don't know me, well, first of all, I don't blame you. But we ain't just gonna sit here and be all serious the entire time. The developer, Bober Bros, makes amazing games about real life situations that teach real life lessons. However, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that we can still laugh and have a good time throughout this video. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Kelp, and you already know the drill. Go ahead and grab you a Kelp shake. Get you a Star Crunch this time. Go ahead and turn the lights off and let's get it. The game starts off by giving you the choice to keep sleeping or to get up. And off the rip, that's a choice we all struggle to make every day. I know some of y'all got school, some of y'all got work, and I know for a fact a lot of y'all would choose to keep on sleeping if you could. I'm already knowing. Keep sleeping is what I picked on accident, okay? It then moves on to an extremely weird scene where you're out in an ocean of blood, it looks like, and you have to go talk to your mom. And I ain't even gonna say nothing about her. She looks pretty mad and she goes ahead and gives you 5 days to get out of her house, and that's when it begins. Moving on, you get a call from an old friend named Radic. Hold on, let me look that up real quick. All right, so I just looked it up and apparently it's pronounced Radic. So that's what we're gonna go with. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I apologize, but that's what we're going with. Hopefully I won't have to say it too much, but I probably will. Yapping too much. Let's continue. You let him know about the situation and he goes ahead and he hooks you up with him at his job, stocking shelves and packing boxes. Pretty simple. So you head out the door and it fast forwards to your first shift. As you walk in, you can already see that it's a pretty creepy and rundown place. You walk up to Radic and you notice that he don't look too good. Through my playthrough, I immediately thought that he was off like some kind of drugs or, you know, too much alcohol or something like that. I don't know. Nonetheless, he gives you a rundown on the job and what all you'll be doing. You pack the boxes with the items that are on the shelves with the same barcode on them as the box, and then you throw it back to him through the window. At the end of each shift, you and him have a conversation and you get different choices of what to say that give you points for different stats, but that won't be too important for this video. At the end of this shift, Radic confronts you about leaving him and the other friends behind. It's been a couple years since you talked to any of them. Now, we don't know what happened, but you go ahead and let Radic know that you already set your boundaries for the other friends and you standing on it. You standing on business. You tell them that you've been going to therapy and it's actually helped you out a lot. Immediately, he tries to guilt trip you, telling you that you hurt people and that you don't just cut friends out of your life. Not only that, but he makes this comment right here. You owe me now. My name's on the line here. So show up, say thanks, and stop playing the victim. You don't get to draw lines with the only person keeping you afloat. So if there hadn't been any red flags yet, that's the first one for sure. You just don't say something like that to somebody. If you want to do something good for somebody, then just do it. You don't do something good for somebody just to try to make them feel like they owe you or just so you can get something in return. Just be nice. What's wrong with y'all? Because first of all, he ain't gonna be talking to me like that. Yeah, because I might go up all in his facial. What? I don't need this job, boy. I can go trap if I want to. Move that OG Kush. Guess we gotta bag our OG Kush. Now, I did say that the choices won't be important for this video, but this is one thing I will mention that's pretty important. You mostly get 2 different reactions to choose from. You can show anger, signifying that you're not falling for his crap, you standing on business, or you can show more submissiveness, showing that you're starting to actually feel bad and feel like you're in the wrong and that he's right, which in my opinion is absolutely not the case when it comes to our protagonist. Regardless, Radic is going to continue pushing it, trying to make you feel like you're the bad guy when you're not. Nonetheless, you go ahead and you end the conversation and head home. It then shifts to a scene with, I have no idea what the freak that is, but we ain't gonna talk about it. You're talking to your inner critic, which I'm not 100% sure, but it seems like it mimics you talking to a therapist, but it's actually you talking and thinking to yourself. Not too sure. Y'all let me know down in the comments. Nonetheless, you replay the conversation in your head and you feel like Radic was right. You start to question whether you're the bad guy or not, and it's so spot on because this is exactly how it can feel in these type of situations. People can be manipulative and they can make you rethink your own choices, even if you know you're putting yourself first and doing what's right for you. Back to your second shift. As soon as you walk in, Radic makes a comment he's like, hey, that booty looking juicy. I mean, I know I got cake, but this is the first instance of him making a comment like that and claiming that it's just a joke. This will be important throughout the game, so keep that in mind. He then claims that after the shift, he has a gift for you that'll cheer you up. You work your shift, and when you're done, he tells you to take a box back to the chill zone. When you get back there and open the box, it's straight up just full of beer. You immediately let him know that you hate drinking, yet of course, Radic pushes you to do it anyways. Regardless of how many times you say no, he continues to peer pressure you into drinking one with him. And again, trying to make you feel bad for it. Making you feel like since he got you this job, the least you can do is drink one with him. No matter what you say, he continues to push it. Eventually though, he does give up and says forget about it. And he says you can ask him questions about his life. In my playthrough, I didn't really meet any of the criteria to ask more than one question, so I just chose to leave. You leave and it cuts to another scene of you talking to your inner critic. Talk about the situation and how you used to drink with your friends in the past. You also mentioned that you hated it because of how it made you feel afterwards. You start to justify you telling him no because that's the right thing to do. You set your boundaries, but Radic is simply choosing not to respect them. However, you start to argue with your inner critic. You feel selfish and you feel like you're the bad guy. The same feeling you got after the first shift. Even though you've done nothing wrong at all, some people can be so manipulative, especially if you're a good person or somebody that feels like they have to make others happy, and that's not the case at all. Putting yourself first is always going to be your absolute best choice. Moving on to your next shift. Before you start work, Radic says to not ditch him after work again. He just wants to sit and talk to you. After your shift, he tells you to meet him in the chill zone again, but once you get back there, you see that he has more beer set up on the table, even though you declined the previous night. And as you could guess, he immediately starts his shenanigans, telling you that you have anger issues, saying that friends don't do this to each other, just being overall manipulative. And at this point, if I'm the protagonist here, we gonna have to run the ones. I'm not gonna lie to you. We gonna have to get it in. Even if you just stand on business, of course he continues to guilt trip you. Eventually though, you two sit down and are able to have an actual conversation. And you remember when Radic made that comment about your booty earlier? Which is true, by the way. Yeah, this is where he tells you that he actually switched over to the other side and he got a boyfriend now. He then continues to make similar comments and trying to pass him off as jokes, but this time he does the thing where you kind of like see how far you can push it, and if the person doesn't react the way that you feel like they should or the way that you want them to, that's when you go ahead and try to play it off as a joke. At this point, you can tell that he's not actually joking though. You go on to tell him that today is actually the deadline for you to move out of your mom's house, and he actually offers you to crash at his place for a while. Hesitantly, you accept the offer. There's a short scene with your inner critic. You know deep down that you're making a mistake. You feel like you're giving Radic too much control over you and maybe you shouldn't have accepted his offer. After all, he's already been making you feel like you owe him, so imagine how he's gonna act now. As you get to Radic's place, you two sit down and relax after work. I won't get into too much detail because this part of the game is disgusting, so I'm gonna keep it as family friendly as possible. Once you sit down, he continues to make the same quote-unquote jokes that he was making before. Not only that, but you notice that his facial expression is different. He looks at you as if he has you right where he wants you. As time goes on, the jokes start to get more and more disgusting until he finally confesses that he in fact is not joking anymore. He eventually gets angry and tells you that you're in his apartment and that you have to listen to everything he says. The situation escalates way too far, and this is when the game branches out to multiple different endings depending on what choices you make. During my playthrough, I actually made the choice to like end Radic. Or Radic, sorry. Have I said Radic in this game? I don't know. Yeah, but in my defense, I didn't know that that was actually gonna happen. Your inner critic knows that you made the wrong choice. You waited too long. You let too many things slide. And it eventually led you to a situation where you had no choice but to make a terrible decision. There are other better choices that you can make that will give you a better ending, But in this video, we not gonna be going over all that. That's not the point of the video, okay? Nonetheless, this game actually teaches a really important lesson and brings awareness to situations like this, which is what Boba Bros' games are all about. Don't be afraid to set boundaries for yourself. Nobody should be able to make you feel like they have control over you. Nobody should be able to make you feel bad for putting yourself first and doing what's best for you, because if you let things go too far, you might dig yourself a hole that'll be extremely hard to get out of. Nonetheless, man, this game was crazy. Teaches a really good lesson though. It's real life. Dang, this video seems like so serious, but I hope I made it, you know, fun enough for y'all at the same time. Nonetheless, man, I hope you guys enjoyed. Go ahead and finish up that kelp shake that you got earlier. I know you already ate the Star Crunch, because I would have finished that in like 3 bites. You can turn the lights back on if you want to, or you can go ahead and go straight to sleep. And I hope you guys have a blessed day.